So this is the IMS outdoor show here in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I got a demo ride of 450 on one of the Tenere 700. Just looking at the difference of the Super Tenere and the Tenere 700, that is tiny compared to it. Actually, you know, I don't mind the Super Tenere at all when it comes to size, but that's a big difference. That is a big difference in size. Look at that. These are almost the same color. So this one's got electronic suspension, this Super Tenere. Mine does not have electronic suspension. Of course, the big deal with this is that it's got the shaft drive. Shaft drive is very important if you pile on tons of miles. And this is a very reliable shaft-driven bike. There's a lot of Tenere 700s. This one is pretty badass. I do like this one as well. This bike is definitely a lot taller than the Super Tenere. Looks a lot slimmer. It feels, oh yeah, it feels like much more nimble. All right. Oh man, this bike is great. Very smooth. This engine is so smooth. When we're doing like a little trip around here, this is a lot better than what I was expecting. Brakes are very smooth. I think the nimbleness of this bike is really what makes me think that this, oh, he stalled it. He stalled it on the Super Tenere. Man, this bike is really fantastic. I am very pleased with this bike. I think if I had the money, I would definitely get this. Everything that people are saying about it, and this is just a brief overview of this bike, but it feels so good to ride this. It feels like a fantastic little bike. Wow. You know, it doesn't have crazy power, but it does get up and go. And you have a gear indicator on the upper right. Very like simple bike. $50 miles an hour. There's some vibration on the gauges, which is odd. Such a smooth, neutral bike. It doesn't feel, I think this is kind of like the seating position that I do like a little bit more. I feel I can take this off-road. I feel I can take this off-road while when I'm riding the Super 10. That's a bike that I just don't want to ride off-road at all. I would rather get this at this point than the Africa Twin. This thing is just so nimble. This thing is just so nimble. You can definitely tell the 21-inch front wheel in the top, in the front, but it doesn't feel like it's a bad thing for road riding, even though a 19-inch front wheel is better for riding on the street. But you know, I do like the idea of going on an adventure, and I think this bike has everything. It is just so cool looking. Oh, let's put it in 6th gear, see how she behaves. Smooth. This thing is just so smooth. Suspension is excellent too. I just hit that manhole cover. It didn't feel like anything. The suspension on the Super Tenere is really nice as well. Like you wouldn't feel that it hit like something. This one I think is a little bit more budget suspension, but I think only with time I would really find out. Let's put it in 5th and 4th. I like the gauges as well. I like the Dakar style of gauges. It definitely doesn't have the kick or the sound of the Super Tenere. These weird angular mirrors that I don't really care too much for. And there's actually like very little amount of space between your hands and the mirrors. I mean, I can touch the mirrors. Yeah, this is the first time riding the Tenere 700 after all this time of hearing about it. This thing is all of that and then some. What a fantastic little bike, and it's so much slimmer than the Super Tenere. When you see these side by side, the Super Tenere feels like a Goldwing. Oh man, I love this bike. Very easy position. You have like the dials over there for like the old school dials. Man, fantastic bike. I wish this guy in front would like give it a little beans. So when you're being gentle with the throttle, you'll see an echo thing there. There's no mode. It's just like when you're being efficient, you'll see it. If I twist it, it disappears because you're being aggressive. So echo could sign up in any sort of condition or any gear. So right now it's on echo, but as soon as I throttle it, it's gone. You know, it doesn't have killer power, but it's more power than I need, and it feels much more usable in everyday conditions. I can almost feel confident on this, even though I'm a terrible off-roader, to take this off-road. I can take this off-road instead of like a little dirt bike. I do feel like this thing carves corners really well as well. It doesn't wheelie, but it's not like I'm trying to wheelie, but man, this bike is so fantastic. I like the slimness. There's no reach to the handlebars, but it feels a little aggressive as well. So, you know, one of the good things about this bike is that it keeps my speed low. With the Super Tenere, it makes you go way too fast. And what I like about this bike is that it keeps my speed a little bit lower. That's the Tenere 700. Lots of Tenere 700s on the ride. So that's the Super 10 on the right, another Tenere over there. More than enough power. Yeah, I'm sold. I think I like this bike much more than the Super Tenere. This Super Tenere cannot be beat for doing long miles. And with a shaft drive though, that thing is just a killer. Think about it, you can go cross country on the shaft driven Super Tenere. And you don't need to adjust the chain ever. That's a big deal. Alright, let's play with the gauges here. Very tall bike. I mean, just compare it to that Super Tenere over there. It's like I'm actually on my tippy toes. What's this button do? ABS on and off. Push and hold. ABS. Oh, this is just so you could use this to cycle the gauge. But okay, I turned off ABS. It's amazing that Yamaha gave us a button to turn off ABS. They should have done that with the Super Tenere. I don't know why they were so myopic in not giving you a ABS light or button to turn it off. It's not that the Super Tenere guys are going to be doing off-road, but it's just the idea that it potentially could be used for off-road. And it's all marketing. It's like the GS guys. The GS guys are not going off-road. They're pretending they're going off-road. Same thing with the Super Tenere. This bike, though, feels like a bike that I would take off-road. I think I could definitely do. It gives me confidence to go off-road. Whatever it is about the ergonomics and the motor and the slimness of this bike, it just feels like a bike that you could potentially do a whole lot more different type of riding than you would on the Super Tenere. This is my ride on the Yamaha Tenere 700, the T7. Oh man, I really recommend this bike. You know, just this little short ride that I've done, it seals it. I mean, I wish I had the money for this bike. You know, if it wasn't, you could get these bikes used in a couple of years, I think I would definitely get this. But unfortunately, this bike costs about $10,000, and then you go to the shop, they're all sold out and they're above MSRP. Oh, now we're turning. Look, there's Suzuki's up ahead. The new Suzuki's. All right, guys, that is the Tenere 700. Kind of stuck here. The cops won't bother me.